Hello, one and all, and welcome to the Celestia Radio Podcast, the CRP podcast, and yes, you heard that right, it is the Crap Podcast. I am your host, Matthias, and joining me are the two that will be my regular other voices and compatriots in this podcast, Nat and Aneth, a.k.a. Dalit. What's going on,
G'day,
guys?
everyone.
How you guys been? You guys doing alright?
Yeah, I'm going good. What about you?
Pretty alright myself.
Very good.
That's good.
Well, guys, for those of you who are just now tuning in, first-time listeners, which all of you will be considering, this is our pilot episode. So, hello, how are you all doing? This is the Celestia Radio Podcast. We are three guys, three friends that met about 10 years ago, give or take, playing Final Fantasy XIV, and have been good friends since. And we just enjoy hanging out and chatting, and this just seemed like something we should share. And we have a variety of opinions and thoughts on video games, anime, pop culture, and fun things like that. And we just want to chat about it and share it with people. And yeah, that's kind of the idea, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I was definitely here for this until you said 10 years. Oh, man.
It's
been quite a while, huh, gentlemen?
The concept of time, what can you do with it? It's one day it's only been, a couple weeks, you blink, and then it's a couple years, you blink, a couple decades, it's fine.
I don't like this.
Oh god, a couple decades. Where's my walking stick?
I actually have one of those that's sitting over there.
Bruh.
Good old back injuries. Anyways, so I figure, this is our pilot. This is, letting all of you wonderful listeners out there meet us. So we're going to do a little round robin of a sorts where we're just going to talk about our favorite things. The question I'm going to ask to my compatriots here, and then I will end up answering at the end, are your favorite game, your favorite anime or manga, and then three other favorite things you want to list, whether that be like favorite food, favorite like comic book hero, anything like that. I'll leave it up to the individuals. I'm still thinking on my third one, let me tell you. So I feel like we're going to start with Aneth here. Start with Dalit and let him go first. So Dole, take it away. What is your start with favorite game, I guess, since that's the first one?
Yeah, and God, what a question. 30 some odd years on this planet. I've played a few. I think I'm going to have to go with Metal Gear Solid 3. And that's super useful given the remaster just came out. Oh wait, it's crap. That's not true. That's not
yeah.
true. Of all the ones that came out, Metal Gear Solid 3 actually seems to have done the best in that regard.
Really?
But, I just had the most mod support immediately, which is not something we should have had to rely on, but we did.
Well, mod support, I've learned over the years that the people that know video games best are not the people that make the games, it's the fans that play them, and so mods end up being, the key thing to a lot of games.
Yeah, I mean, in general, Metal Gear Solid 3, this was a re-release of something that had already come out. So, frankly, most of the work was done, and this was a situation that people were prepared for. A lot of people were saying before the release of this altogether that this was just going to be a port. So the modders no doubt were sitting there just like absolutely wringing their hands waiting to import all their goodness. And thankfully, hours after release, Metal Gear Solid 3 completely playable in 4K with better audio. So
that's impressive. That's actually impressive. I've been a part of the modding community and a few other games, and the modding community's always impressed me, but that, a few hours after release is wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, Konami got put through the ringer pretty hard because of it, no less.
As they should.
No, correct.
I can't say that I have a huge attachment to the Metal Gear franchise. I've never played any of the games except for the one that is colloquially a meme. But
Revengeance,
also,
baby.
Yeah. That was really my only interaction with that series. So I always do enjoy hearing Dalit or our friend Kobe or anybody else talk about um, the series because it's just something that is foreign to me. And as much as I might be interested to experience the series, it's just there's enough games there, and some of them are old enough that I'm just like, I think I'll just continue to experience this one through others.
It's not a terrible idea, to be honest. The earlier games pre PS1 are exactly what you'd expect. They're of their era. And then you get into, if you're just interested in Metal Gear Solid, if PS1 to PS2, a PS3 game, and PS5, I guess. Holy crap. So yeah, it goes back a fair ways.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people get so hung up with Kojima as a superstar and all of this that they take these games real seriously.
Oh yeah.
And I try not to.
It's not so much of fanboys of Metal Gear. It's more so fanboys of Kojima because I'm pretty sure most MGS fans also like Death Stranding as well. I think.
Yeah, I see a lot of like hero worship to an extent for Kojima, and I think because I haven't touched on that on his series on MGS or Metal Gear or any of that to it, like I have no real expectations for this guy or no attachment to him, and everything I see of him and his one like major release as an independent, I guess would be the correct term for his studio. Um, it's not interesting. It doesn't look that good to me. I'm sorry to the people out there that liked Death Stranding. That just didn't look like a fun game to me, and yeah, I'm not a fan.
I think that's fair. Like I said, I'm not so wrapped up in Kojima as a rock star so much as Kojima as part of a team that often has to hold him back for the betterment of the product. Which is why a lot of like of the entire timeline of Metal Gear games, I really am pretty much just a Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3 guy. Afterwards, it falls off, a lot of it falls apart, and I just like you, I couldn't get into Death Stranding. I bought it because I figured given his pedigree, there must have been something I didn't understand. And no, it was exactly what he said. It just, it's not for everyone. Which I think wraps up Kojima games in and of itself. It's not for
Yeah,
everyone.
it really does, considering the way he handled advertising for the first one, especially. It really felt like I wanted to make a game with my friends, and this is what I've done, and that's cool. But it does definitely mean the game's not for everyone.
True, true. And I mean, there's the long standing joke that is not a joke that Kojima wants to be a movie director. He
God
always
damn it!
did.
I was waiting. I was biding my time, waiting to make that joke, and you've already fucking ruined it for me, Dollet.
I'll be honest with you. I mean, like I just said, like we say it's a joke, but it's not. He's admitted to this. We know
Yeah.
that we know that his games are the way they are because he's a cinephile and that he grew up watching like a new movie every day or every other day.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. If you're not into exposition, don't get into this director's series.
Uh,
Oh boy.
I like exposition. I just don't think I
Yeah.
like exposition the way he delivers it.
Which is fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my favorite game.
Favorite anime manga.
Okay. I guess I'm a boomer because I have to say Ghost in the Shell. And
Oh, nice.
there are other anime that come close. Like, I genuinely think Cowboy Bebop is amazing, and I am incredibly vexed with what Netflix did to it.
Oh, you're talking about the live action. I was like, what?
Yeah,
I was
we
like, hold on,
don't-
what did
so
Netflix
we-
do to it? And then I'm like, oh, okay, you mean that?
Yeah, that
We don't
live
talk
action.
about
Okay.
that.
And I like Full Metal as well. I think Full Metal might have the best written characters. Period. full
Brotherhood,
stop.
right? Brotherhood.
But
we're talking about Brotherhood. Yeah.
in general,
Okay,
doesn't
well,
matter. Pick between the original and Brotherhood. I don't care. No, if you get into the other stuff, like with the live action, all that, maybe I never watched them, but I like both runs of Full Metal.
That's fair. That's fair. That's you can. I don't think anybody's really gonna call you a boomer on that one because
I am. What are you talking
Shut up.
about?
Well, I might get called boomer for Ghost in the Shell. That is literally a bunch of military folks standing around waxing not even political so much as
I don't
philosophical.
know. I mean, it's a classic though, right? And I think, look, I'm
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
of the three
absolutely.
of us, I'm still the one who most actively watches anime and watches current
True.
anime. The current animes,
Hey, I've been better about that. I watched. I was watching Jujutsu Kaisen, and I really enjoy it.
that's true. You have,
Oh my
and then
god.
I'm happy about that. Somebody to talk about JJK with every now and then. Um, but current anime is good, but it's nothing compared to like the storytelling a lot of older anime really gave. I don't think. Like, look, I love Danmachi. I love Tensura. I love all of these trash isekai with really long names that I'm not even gonna try and say,
Oh
or
my god.
just these random little rom-com things or whatever. They're all good. They're all enjoyable. I'm not saying any of them are bad. I just feel like the storytelling aspect was a little better handled back with older anime. And maybe that's just because the anime back then, they tried to write about, they were a bit more heavy-handed in their writing, I guess, with the way they handled the story, because it was more, I guess, deep is the
It's hard to say because, and I may not be right about this. This comes from a topic that I'm clearly out of my depth in.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm not entirely sure if that's the case or not. If anime actually did get worse or not. I know that from my stance, when I was growing up, when anime was first really catching on to any degree in the West, we had our pick of all of the best. Like if it wasn't something that someone was like super excited about, they just didn't bother grabbing it.
I don't know. They grabbed Dragon Ball Z.
I well, you say that it's one of the most lucrative
I
anime.
mean,
Full
I like
stop.
Dragon Ball Z I like Dragon Ball Z as a kid, but it's just my older self is a very jaded outlook about Dragon Ball Z.
Oh sure.
I don't know why, just Dragon Ball Z
Um,
specifically.
but yeah, the idea of like newer anime, I don't think that necessarily there are more bad anime or there's less good anime. I think when it comes to someone like me who strictly sticks to localized and dubbed versions because I don't want to read my anime, I would read the manga if I wanted to read this story. They're less choosy about what gets dubbed. And the turnaround on these projects are a lot faster.
They're less choosy, but I think voice acting in America has come a long ways.
No, this is true. This is true. Um, but when you have such a fast turnaround on something, the project will suffer somewhere. For a long time, it was the voiceover. They were getting whoever they could to record and re-record things as fast as possible. I think nowadays
Mm-hmm.
the folks struggling the most are the localizers. I don't know how much time they actually have to make it work in English. Not just make the words understandable, but make the story coherent. Which is why when I find myself getting into certain anime that are in English, I am very impressed by the caliber of the writing and the caliber of the localization. And yeah, of course, the voiceover jobs have been getting much and much better because it be kind of, how do I say this? There was a time where voice actors were just whoever you could grab off the street.
Mm-hmm.
And then it became something that people wanted to do. I know this because 2008 to 2015, I was a part of that.
Right.
So you had people rushing for like, that's what I want to do. I want to do voiceover. It's how you get people like Sydney and Connor, which I know our audience will probably be familiar with. You get people like Amberly Connors and Stephen Kelly, who you all might not be familiar with, but I suggest you find out who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, like with people fighting to be the best, the caliber of competition went through the roof, and now you just get like stellar performances from people who you have no idea who they are.
That's fair. I mean, like I said, I'm not saying like I'm not saying like hands down old anime is better than new anime. Um,
I'll say that.
I just I just think something about the way they handled telling stories back then to now just makes the experience feel a bit better back then, or makes, I mean, I think what I'm trying to say is that back then each anime's story was a little bit more unique from anime to anime,
Sure.
whereas now, you know, the genre, like not the genre, but the medium is so much more bloated with so many more anime and manga and light novels and things out there. You come out with
Agreed.
a lot. You come across a lot of shared plot points now, which isn't a bad thing. That's, you know, as somebody who was studying and studying literature and stuff at one point to be a writer, it you'll see that all across history. That is a common thread. Like stories sharing
Yeah.
story beats and elements and all of that. So it's just, you know, it seems a lot more prolific now because there's so much more and the studios are doing so much more. When in reality, it's probably about the same as it always has been.
Yeah. No,
I think that's a fair read of it.
Yeah.
But I just think it allows older anime to feel a bit more unique. I think is
Sure.
probably what I'm trying to say. It sounds like I'm coming off as a very jaded old guy that says old anime is better. Only the old anime.
I mean, it kind of is. And not only that, it's like you know, the 90s and early 2000s like aesthetic and art style compared to just
I don't
now,
know.
which is it's just
I'm gonna step back from you there, Nat. I'm gonna step back from you there, Nat. I think some of the newer art styles are way better.
I mean, yes, they could look pretty and all that, especially with like it's pretty through certain scenes rather than like the full on anime. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
Like,
and
in terms of like art style,
sometimes depending on the show, I might agree, but for the most part, I think newer is better in that regard. I think newer.
I would agree. So? However, and this might be where you are as well. In that I do prefer the aesthetic of the older stuff, but it's aesthetic. I don't think the quality is superior. It's just my preference in that regard.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm getting those two confused with.
I also really prefer. I prefer the hand-drawn cells to digital, but I recognize that is a big reason why anime was so difficult to deal with for a long time, and why it's perhaps not the best medium in terms of making your money back on, and how digital made everything faster and therefore less expensive.
Yeah, I mean, the old styles are very nostalgic, and I do like them, and they do look great. Especially if you look at the source material for some of those old materials, they like old series and stuff. They look great. I just think there's a lot more diversity in artists now and art styles that look really good. Now, given all the shows that come out don't always capture that, like we've already mentioned JJK's art style in the manga, you see it more in season 1 than you have in season 2, from what I understand. But like the anime for season 1 really captures the art style from the manga very well, and the art style for the manga, the art for JJK to me is one of the big selling points to it. Is I love the art for Jujutsu Kaisen. It is.
I can definitely say that Mappa has killed it. But Mappa in general over the last couple of years has been absolutely
and like with season 1 of JJK, like you can take panels from the manga and hold it up to stills from the anime, and you see where it's like 1 for 1, which is something people always you always hear that in anime. Like they're like, why don't they just copy those panels? Because sometimes it doesn't always work quite that easily, but Mappa made it work with JJK in season 1, which was really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I love Jujutsu Kaisen's like just entire art style from the manga. I think somebody who's current with the manga, it's great. It continues to stay great. It looks fantastic. And the anime also looks fantastic. Like Dalit said, Mappa's killing it. So
yeah, Mappa's killing it. That movie was amazing. But before we get too much more sidetracked, 3 other things that I enjoy. I enjoy cooking in general. So like I'm not gonna pare it down to a specific food. I enjoy the act of cooking.
All right, husband material right here, ladies.
Wave the house husband. I enjoy going to the gym. I find it incredibly meditative, which is not something I would have said 3 years ago.
All right, Jim Bro, lads.
Look, given the option at 11 o'clock at night, I will carry my butt to the gym where there is like 7 other people with me, and I will just kind of get into my own little zone.
Yep.
And I'll be able to just free myself of whatever. And you know what? The muscles that come with it, pretty solid, must be said.
Hell yeah.
You know what? I'm not going to say anything.
Not that I am some specimen, but you know, it's a good feeling to get that.
I'm not going to say anything.
Mhm.
Going to the gym when I was doing it actively 2 years ago, a year ago, before I hurt myself, it was very like relaxing in a way, like running on the treadmill, doing the cycle machines. It just all of the
Yeah.
cardio stuff, especially, very, very just like therapeutically relaxing.
Yeah, just get the gains.
And as somebody who plays gacha games, it's a great time to run through your dailies on gacha games while you're sitting there running on that treadmill or cycling on the cycle machine. You just, pop through.
You know, that's not a bad idea.
That's what I did.
I hadn't considered
what
that.
I did very regularly.
Oh god, Daw's getting back into gacha again.
No, I haven't reinstalled anything since my computer exploded, and I've been a better person for it.
Oh, good man.
Third thing.
Last but not least, let's go with, I am an audio engineer. It's what I do for work. So, it goes without saying. I really enjoy messing with sound, finding out, like, behind the scenes stuff. Like, anime's really neat in that it's all post. There's no sound gotten from a set. It's all designed.
Yeah.
So I always am really keen on looking behind the scenes stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
I'll follow a question up to those 2 or 3 things. And the question's actually to Nat. Nat, do you know how to cook?
No.
Okay, so Dala is the only person in this podcast that knows how to cook.
Hold on. I know how to cook for myself, alright? I know how to live. I know how to survive. But if it's like cooking for like a family, I may need a little bit of help, but I think I could do it. But I'm not saying cooking is my passion, alright? Isn't my passion.
Oh, okay, so
That's
what
all
I'm hearing here is Dalet's, he's set, he's good, man can cook. And I've seen pictures of his food. He can cook. Nat does all right. He gets by. I'm screwed.
I get by. Bro, just cook. It's not that hard.
Okay. All right.
It brings its own challenges. This is absolutely certain, but
I can grill a hamburger.
Hey, that's all you need.
Actually, so funny enough, that's actually a pretty solid place to start. You've already learned how to brown meat and how to cook to your likeness, whether it be rare, medium well. Please don't say well done.
There are certain people in my family who prefer theirs well done. Yeah, no,
your well done steak.
I want to say it's my grandmother. My grandmother doesn't like her meat undercooked at all, so I usually have to get hers fairly well done. Everybody else is like usually around medium. It's kind of where they sit. Yeah.
Okay.
There was a long time.
If you can learn to make a hamburger, you can learn to make a steak.
Yeah, there was a long time where we were more regularly grilled burgers that my mom and stepdad and nephews and them and sisters would be like, all right, we're having burgers for dinner. Hey, Matt, come grill the burgers for us. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go grill burgers. Not like I'm playing a game or something.
Hey.
But
grilling is the best part.
I mean, I enjoyed it, so I was begrudging jokingly because I did enjoy it, and there was a level of satisfaction from people saying they enjoyed them. So I was like, okay, cool. If you say that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so yeah, there you have it. That is Dalit. That is Aneth. He is one of the voices you will hear, and you will get to know him better, of course, as we go on. And I'm sure opinions will come and go many a time as we do this. So now, Nat, favorite game?
Yes. Favorite game. This is gonna be a really hard pick for me to choose. Can I pass?
No.
Because I need time to think about this.
I gave you time before the podcast. There is no pass.
It's Kingdom Hearts 2.
All right.
I like the entirety of the Kingdom Hearts franchise, but obviously, if I had to pinpoint the best game, it'll be 2 for me.
And I give
yeah.
you a strong thumbs up to that because Kingdom Hearts 2 is a fantastic game.
Oh yeah.
I respect that. Yeah, it's my second favorite in the series.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, of the last, it's 2023. The last 20 years, we'll say 23 years of video games. It's one of, to me, one of those timeless gameplays. Like the game is still
yeah.
heck of a lot of fun. Still enjoy playing that game so much.
Oh yeah.
Like I watched you when you did your marathon stream earlier this year of Kingdom Hearts series when you were on 2. I watched for less than 5 minutes and I'm like, man, I need to go play Kingdom Hearts 2 again.
Yeah,
It does get like that.
I've been getting quite a few comments like that when I've been doing Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts, where I'm just like, man, I want to go back to playing this. It's like, yeah, well, that's what I'm here for, just making you guys feel like want to play, your games again. But yeah, so more specifically, Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, and the reason why I kind of want to add that is because of the added content to 2, because 2 is already a good game. The Final Mix makes it better because you've got more super bosses with the data fights, with the Organization 13 data fights, the limited form, which you get only in Final Mix, which is really nice. And I don't really like the mushrooms, but doing the mushroom tests it's kind of fun. Some of them are fun. Lingering Will. Oh my god, I fucking love Lingering Will. He kicks my ass, but he's just a good fight.
I mean, I'm much of the same mind in the Kingdom Hearts series, especially Kingdom Hearts 2 is my favorite.
Yeah.
The form system is just an incredibly fun system. Like,
yeah, don't know why they didn't bring it back for 3, but that's fine.
We'll save comments on 3 specifically for its own episode, I think.
Yeah. But 2 was great. 2 iterated so well onto 1.
And that would be your favorite one in the series, right?
In 1? Most aspects. Yeah, 1 is easily my favorite in the series. But I'm not so blind as to think it's objectively the best. I do think that 2 is probably objectively in all aspects the best game of the series. I'm just, for whatever reason, I just prefer 1 immensely.
You know what? And I don't blame you, because I actually really replaying the Kingdom Hearts series, I actually really do like 1 as well. It's very much the black sheep of the Kingdom Hearts franchise going forward, because it is completely different compared to the future installments. There's so many tiny little things that you can interact with that you just that is just not in any of the games, including 2. I love 2, but it's just there's little things, there's little touches that makes you go, ooh, I can interact with this, whether I use a spell or I attack it, or I something like that. It's a very cute and very probably the best, want to be in a Disney World sort of game, so to speak.
Yeah.
It definitely, I think, kind of what Nat was saying was it definitely has those RPG elements of interacting with multiple things down really well. It does a lot of that. Something that the series going forward kind of slightly, leans away from, not as...
I wouldn't say slightly. I'd say they just full on just got.
Well, I mean, the further you go, yeah. I don't think it's a full on get rid of it from 1 to 2, but it's definitely lesser. But I think one thing that slows a lot of people down, and what makes so many people say that they don't like 1 or say they have problems with 1, because there are a lot of people that say that I've seen, is because it's an older game, so it's a little clunky, doesn't feel as smooth.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It's got some jank platforming issues. This is absolutely true. That is a valid criticism.
Yeah, that Yeah, that's just, and even when I went back and played the series, I didn't do it as recently as Nat, but it was like 2 years ago, I think. I say replay the series. I played 1 and 2 again.
Yeah, that's all you need
Yeah.
to do.
Playing 1 again, it was way more fun than I remembered. It was a blast. It's a great game.
That being said, though, Phantom Heart is not exactly a good super boss.
I agree.
That being said, though,
Wait, which boss?
first Phantom Heart, the ghost Heartless that's from Neverland, the one that looks like a
Yeah, the
Dementor.
super boss.
Oh, the super boss. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, like I just like when I was refighting it, I was like, man, like I was actually like scared shitless of this fight because one of the Doom mechanic and two because of the design of the Heartless, right? Like it's legitimately scary for like a kid, but then when you're an adult and you're like actually like you understand how like games are worked and playing and all that, right? You're just like, man, this is a bad boss fight. Like it's pretty awful.
Right.
It requires you to do quite a bit, and it does it without, I think,
Telling you.
it certainly doesn't make it obvious what needs to be done. Like, you just kind of have to know.
But that's what I mean by like these little like these little small touches where you can interact with things. Like it's not hard to assume that casting stop on the clock tower will actually stop the hands, but it's very much not. It doesn't like directly guide you into it. It's more so you playing throughout the game and you interact with these little things like the chimney in the accessory tower and traverse tower. You cast fire, it creates smoke in the outside of the outside into the town, right? Like you can actually visibly see like the smoke coming out of the chimney. So it's like, and casting fire on the door, casting thunder on the electricity pipe to power essentially the town. Casting blizzard on the 4 candles to unlock the treasure chest. Like all these little things throughout the game. So it doesn't. So it's more so it doesn't directly guide you, but it definitely teaches you throughout the game. It's like
it teaches you that there's an element of what's going on in the terrain and around you that will affect some of the fights or the world around you at times.
Yeah, with magic and all that. So again, casting stop at the time because defeating Phantom Heart gives you stop guard. Using stop roll on the clock tower will stop the Doom effect and permanently getting rid of your party members if you let the Doom be casted.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
it's I do like that element of Kingdom Hearts 1 is that the interacting with the things that seem unaffected will sometimes have an effect on what's going on around you, or that fight that you're talking about. I love that. Using the spell on the clock affects the fight. That's cool. And like that, I like little, I guess, hidden things about that with combat, like how in older, I say older, I think some newer games do it too, but in a lot of like older RPG games, if you use your potions and stuff on undead enemies, it actually does damage. Or
Final Fantasy is a staple for that.
Yeah, and then was it in Final Fantasy VII? There's the boss in the Cosmo Valley where if you just throw an elixir at it, it's a one-hit kill.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, no, that makes sense because they are technically undead.
Yeah.
So
that's every time I play 7, it's like I'll spend, like the original 7 that is, I'll sit there and because the Cosmo Valley, that cave that you go in, that's like one of the best leveling spots for a while. So I'll sit there and I'll spend like an hour or so in there leveling, and then when I'm done, I'll just walk up to the boss, throw an elixir, and then go get on with the story. Like I give the boss no attention. Like I 100% forget about that boss every time until I get to it, and then I'm like, all right, just here, boom, all right, now let's go back on what we're doing.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same thing. Like Final Fantasy X, like when you fight what's your name? It starts with A. The one before Evray. Thank you.
Yep.
Evray.
Every second fight.
Yep. Second Evray. He she. I'm gonna say she.
The red carpet with teeth.
The,
I don't know.
The red cup. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, the red carpet with teeth. Second fight. She's technically undead, so you literally just cast 2 Phoenix Downs and it instantly kills her.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, Final Fantasy is definitely a
It's great. I was this close to saying 10 for my favorite, and it's probably the more accurate, but I am currently playing 3 again, so biased.
I thought for some reason
bias.
you said you're playing 3 again. I thought you were about to say for some reason I thought you were talking about Final Fantasy 3, and I was like, what?
No, never again.
I was like, what? Why would you subject yourself to such an awful game again?
Oh, all right, used to. All right, all right. Those are some fighting words.
Look, I don't like Final Fantasy 3, and I'm one of the strange people. I'm one of the strange people in the world that like Final Fantasy 2.
And yet, you like the Amano art for
Dawn Trail?
Yes, Dawn Trail. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Amano's art is incredible. I'm a connoisseur of art. Let me tell you, I like good art.
I mean, yeah.
But no, I don't like 3. I like 2. That's there's my controversialness. Say what you will. I think 2 was a good idea, even if it wasn't implemented well.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll save the rest of the Kingdom Hearts time because I'm sure that'll come up later at some point. But yeah, 2's your favorite.
Yeah.
It's gonna be relevant sooner than we think. I'm sure.
Oh yeah. With Missing Link coming out.
So second question is your favorite anime or manga, and I specifically include anime or manga for you because I know your favorite because your favorite manga, to my knowledge, hasn't really gotten a good anime adaptation.
I disagree, but we're gonna do the first question first, and that's the first part of the question is anime. My favorite anime is the Monogatari series. So Bakken Monogatari.
Hey, let's go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was actually not expecting this.
I was also not expecting this. I don't know how in all the years we've been friends that had never come up in conversation before.
Bro, my last name in 14 is Araragi.
Dude, do you think I look at your last name in 14?
No.
No. What is my character's name in 14, Nat? Do you know it?
Matthias.
Wrong. Yeah. Okay. See, already failing. So I don't want to hear it. I don't know your character's name.
So Monogatari, which season in particular do you enjoy the most?
That's also that's kind of hard because I have not seen it in a long time. But when I was watching it when it was like coming out in like episodes at the time, like it was like a season anime and all that, seasonal anime. But yeah, I haven't seen it since. But I do like obviously the first one, Bakken Monogatari, good setup.
Mm-hmm.
I like bits and pieces of Nisei, and then I think I also like second season. I think Kizu is like top 3 for me.
Fair.
Okay.
I want to say I also seen the movie, but I could be wrong about that. I feel like I've seen the movie. But yeah, if you don't know about the Monogatari series, there's quite a bit of seasons, and it's not just like Naruto season 1, Naruto season 2. It's like Bakken Monogatari, Nisei Monogatari, Bakken Monogatari season 2, Kizu Monogatari. Like it's got like a whole bunch of different names, right? So it's kind of hard to keep everything together. There's even like a list online where it's like the chronological
possible ways to watch
ways, the chronological ways, or like the release date ways and all that shit. It's like it's insane. But yeah, the Monogatari series is my favorite anime, and I would definitely say like Ghost in the Shell with Dolo would be like in my top 10.
I respect that. That's a series I don't have a lot of interaction with. I know I watched, I think, the very first season of the first one of Bakken Monogatari.
Standalone?
Bakken Monogatari? No, not Ghost in the Shell. I'm talking about Monogatari. Is Bakken Monogatari. But then, you know, I saw how much there was and like the complexity, like to the order of how you're supposed to watch it and everything. And then I also
Fair.
saw a couple people that, you know, people that I would say I respected their opinion when it came to anime and manga and stuff, that say there's like a different complexity to it if you're like reading it reading it in Japanese.
Yeah.
And to me that was just one of those things that it's like I want to experience this series that way. If my first time experiencing it, I want to read it in Japanese and see that complexity the first time, and then see how it's less complex watching it, you know, watching it in English or with subtitles or whatever. Because I feel like if doing it the opposite, I don't know. I feel like it would go over my head a little bit, the complexity, if I did it that way.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I've held off on really indulging in watching that series because I'm trying to learn Japanese so that I can read it all. So I don't.
Yeah.
I can't comment much on the series, unfortunately, because of that. But I do know of it, and I do think that's a very respectable favorite. And
Shaft, oh, just god tier. I mean, I don't know what they've done recently, because I don't really keep up anime no more.
Who?
But yeah, Shaft. I think they're the ones that did the.
They are. Shaft is the studio behind.
Yes,
the
studio.
anime.
I was gonna say terms because of gamer brain. But yeah, they're the studio behind the Monogatari series, and Shaft is pretty good. I would say they're pretty.
Well, Shaft is pretty good when they're funded right, or when they have a chance to re-release something.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fair.
They're kind of notorious for their first run of things, eh?
When the stars align, they're pretty much as good as Trigger, I would say.
That's fair. You know, that's
Yeah, especially on their Blu-ray releases. It's beautiful.
yeah. When they get the time to really invest in it, so you know the Blu-ray releases, stuff usually looks good. I can't think of what they've done. You know, recently.
Yes,
Madoka Magica.
Well, yeah, they
Madoka
have
Magica,
done.
that's
They have done
really
Madoka Magica. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to think if they've done anything other than that, but yeah, the only thing I can think of is Madoka Magica, the Monogatari series. They did Dance in the Vampire Bun. The 2000. I'm not gonna say the year because I can't remember the year, but it's less than 10. They did the Fate Extra anime that was released to Netflix about.
That's true. That's right. Extra. I thought you were talking about the Dean run. No. Yeah. That was in fact was
that looked fine.
I had some misgivings about it, but yeah, it was more or less.
I mean, my misgivings were more with Extra as a part of the Fate series, because it always, anything having to do with the moon cells gets strange very quick.
True.
I want to give a quick shout out to High School DxD as well.
Did they do?
Good anime.
Which one is that? The one that I have to look at like real sus like? It is, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Okay.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Yeah, that's what you're going with. All right.
Okay. No, but seriously though, like, okay, I kind of like the fighting scenes in High School DxD. They are pretty good, but they do get broken up by those moments, and I'm just like, bro, I just finish off the fight first before.
I'll give you a pass, man, because DxD's story, like the further you go into it, actually does get really interesting and a little bit more complex.
See,
like
it
very much starts off as you know, early teenage, early teenager etchy bait for mostly
horny teens me.
That's exactly what it is. It's etchy bait for horny teens.
Yes.
That being said, the story picks up the further you get into it and does get a little bit more complex, a little bit more interesting. Unfortunately, the anime went really downhill around season 4, where they changed animation studio or whatever, and then the characters don't even look like the same characters. They look nothing alike.
Yeah, different people have brought that up in the Discord. That's
Also, Shaft did the Negima series, which, if you don't know Negima, that's
Oh,
understandable. But it's the author of Love Hina. It's his series.
yeah,
okay.
it's a professor, teacher. No,
Yeah. It's
is it?
what is the? It's I can't remember the English title. It's like
It's like a small boy kid
yeah,
that's like
he's
actually a teacher and all that
yeah,
shit,
he's like
right?
13, 14, maybe even younger than that. And he's
And he's surrounded by women.
yeah,
Yeah,
he goes to study magic to
yeah.
follow after his dad or find his. It's been a while since I've watched Negima.
Wasn't it to be like a
Yeah, to be a
magi,
magi or
which is like both
and then he
sword
ends
and
up at this
magic?
school that's an all girls school teaching at it because that's where like
Yeah, yeah,
where the trail
yeah.
leads or something like that, or that's where he's sent to study because of somebody that's there, and ends up being the exact place to be because of other details and stuff. And it's a really good series.
Mm-hmm.
It ended up being the author wanted to make a shonen, and I've been told this. I don't know how true this is, so take it with a grain of salt. But the author wanted to make a shonen, but he had done Love Hina, and they're like, "You do really good rom-com harems, so we want you to keep doing rom-com harems." And he was like, "Okay." So he said, "Here's my rom-com harem," but subtly, while it was ended up being a rom-com harem as well, subtly it was very much a shonen that he wanted, and it's about as good. It's about as good as any shonen out there, I suppose.
Good,
Pretty good.
good job on
Yeah.
him.
But yeah, no, I can't think of anything, and I'm kind of like scrolling through a list of things that Shaft has done, and
Isn't it just Nagima Sensei? Or am I
yeah,
crazy?
Negima Sensei or Mahal Sensei Negima or something like that.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
it.
I'm
Yeah.
kind of scrolling through, and they haven't done anything super recent outside of that one Fate Extra, it seems. And otherwise, it's a lot of Madoka Magica and Monogatari series, and I'm probably forgetting something in there somewhere. But
Shaft also did like literally like one episode of like Pokemon, but it wasn't like the Pokemon anime itself. It was like um Cheryl from Gen 4 where she was like getting lost in the forest and they find the mansion and all that.
yes, the was that Pokemon Adventures or something like that?
I was gonna say, is it Adventures or not?
Adventures is what it used to be called. It might be something. Oh, they did Makaku City Actors. That was an alright one, I suppose. It was like a 12-episode anime. It was okay. I forgot it.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to hit my desk. Didn't also Shaft also do Palatina's trailer for like Smash 4? Or am I crazy?
They might
They
have.
might have.
They've done a couple
But I don't know.
trailers or intros for games and stuff before, I think. So
Let's not get too hung up on
Yeah,
Shaft, though. You have 3 other answers
also
to
you
give.
you said you wanted to comment on the manga section because I said anime
Oh, sure,
or
sure,
manga
sure.
or
I don't read manga. I don't like manga. Haha.
but isn't your favorite manga Berserk?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
it is. Yeah, so,
Because that was the entire reason I phrased the question anime or manga, because to my knowledge, Berserk has never had a good anime adaptation.
right, and I disagree with that because the actual anime, the nice anime, pretty good. In terms of animation for Berserk, you have 3 sources. You have the the 90s anime, then you have the triple disc or triple episodes Blu-ray-esque or re-release of the anime in like 3 discs. I don't remember what's called off my head, but I actually have a physical copy of the Golden Age arc Berserk DVDs. I think they're like what 2012. I could be wrong. This was 2000 something, right? And then you have the Berserk 2016, 17, one of the two. That's the one that everyone shits on because it's literally like 2 frames per second in terms of walking animation. It's not very good. As much as I like the Golden Age arc because it's what sets essentially everything up afterwards or beyond the arc, because like it's like the starting point of like when like everything goes down, like, you know, Guts being the Black Swordsman, you know, Griffith becoming Femto, you know, Casca becoming a vegetable, and, you know, pretty much everyone dying, right? So
Tracks, right?
right, so that's what your first two anime is, and while the third anime, the 2016 one, it is shit. Don't get me wrong. I'm not defending it, but I will tip my hat to the team that did this anime. They actually went past the golden age arc for Berserk. I know it's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, just give a round of applause, everyone.
It keeps getting rebooted. This is fair, actually. This is fair
that's very
criticism.
understandable. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So in the 2016-17 version is when Guts essentially has his party with Casca, Chiriaki, Silky, whatever you want to pronounce her name. I forgot the names, but essentially is the party. I'm sorry. I'm a Berserk fan, I swear.
Right. No, it's fine. Don't worry.
But,
Don't worry
yeah,
too much if you
like,
can't remember the names, man. Like, come on, who actually remembers every detail about everything that they like?
I mean, they're kind of important because, you know, they're like the main protagonists.
Well, when's the last time you
party.
watched it? Don't worry about it.
But yeah, so I like Berserk. It's really good. It's obviously not for everyone because it is a dark fantasy with a lot, and I truly do mean a lot of dark themes. But not every single page and chapter is dark. You know, there is you know, breathing room and like breathing chapters where it's like, oh my god, we can like
It's a
finally
lot of dark.
settle down.
Yeah.
We can settle down for a bit and we can relax. Our protagonist can relax, even if it is for like 10 minutes, and then, you know, goes back into fighting for your lives, essentially, right?
Right. That's I brought that just, you know, to make the joke for you, but it's I've never watched any of the anime. I will say that, and in my interaction with the series is I've read the first several volumes of the manga. So
Yeah.
and I definitely know what Berserk is, and I know it's good, but I don't know it deeply enough to really comment on it, I'd say. And I was much younger when I interacted with it, so
Yeah, same. But yeah, if you're feeling like daunted reading Berserk because it is like, what, 300 plus chapters, something like that.
something like that.
It's some
Most, you know what? No. Most anime fans out there read One Piece. That's over 1,000 chapters. It's
yeah, but
fine.
like but like I would, the themes and visuals in Berserk, I would say, is more heavy than One Piece. Like,
Oh, yeah,
saying
no,
One Piece
that's-
doesn't have like its moments where it's like not dark, but like it's heavy, like it's dense, and like there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah, but I mean that's you know, different shades, right? Like
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
yeah. Now, they're two very different genres. Two very different genres. So okay, yeah. I wanted to give you that chance to talk about Berserk because I knew you liked Berserk a lot. You literally go for Guts when it comes to a lot of your
I do
stuff.
Yeah, just big, tall, muscular man, great sword, heavy armor. Yep, I'm good. It's go time.
I mean, that's an aesthetic that I understand.
But yeah, just real quickly, if you don't want to read the manga, I suggest watching the 90s anime. 90s anime. If you can't find that for whatever reason, I recommend the re-release on the 3-disc one. Pretty good visuals. It hits everything. And you know, it's just good Berserk anime.
Hey, there you go. If any of you listeners out there wanted to give it a shot because you hear everybody in the anime and manga community talk about it, but it's a little dense to get into to read, there's how you give it a little watch and get to know it a little bit. So good recommendation on that's part. So yeah, so three other favorite things or whatever you wanna list off to say you.
Sushi, because I'm a weeb, that's why. No, okay, no, but like sushi's good. It's tasty, it's yummy. It's yeah. Water's so good. So I'm being
really,
basic.
really selling people on you as a person.
I know, right?
Also like breathing as well. So yeah, I'm
All
very.
right. We only get Nat for one episode, guys. He's too human for us, I guess. Hold on. So no, I do have a question. You say sushi. Now, obviously Australia different from America.
We don't have that fucking California.
Y'all have
sushi,
like
where
actual
the fuck it's
sushi
called.
there more so than y'all have like the stuff we get over here. I'm assuming, right?
I would hope so. Yeah, from what I've been, it's I'm assuming you guys as well. Like obviously most Japanese restaurants is run by Japanese people, but obviously you do have your occasional like employees that's like not Japanese, and
We get a lot of like chains. We get a lot of like Japanese restaurant chain style things here. So
you have like sushi train over there.
we don't have a
Over in
sushi.
America?
No, I don't. Anywhere near me. Do they have anything in Cali that you're aware of?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't eat a whole lot of sushi. We do have a lot of very authentic Japanese and Chinese and Korean places, but I think that's just mostly because I live on the right side of the country.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't.
Yeah,
It,
that's-
however, isn't something I actively go out for a whole lot, so I couldn't tell you.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
around here,
Yeah.
it's mostly very Americanized sushi.
I assume that's just true of the nation in general.
It is from what I understand. It is. Now you can get
like
some
pizza.
more authentic style sushi in some places. We have one place here in town that's really good that I hear a lot of praise from people who have actually been to Japan and had actual Japanese food and Japanese sushi, that their food is very, very close. Some of the closest they've gotten stateside to actual Japanese cuisine.
Yeah.
So the sushi there, I know they have authentic like Japanese style sushi. Is really good. Is really good.
What else? What else do I like? I'm like looking around my room. Oh, I like swords. I like knives. Yeah, I'm not a psychopath. I swear. I just like.
Hey, no.
I'm happy you said
Okay.
something because my first thought was I have to make you sound like not a sociopath.
Okay.
Look,
To make
that's fair.
myself not sound like a sociopath. All right. So I have 3 off the top of my head. 3 replica weapons. I have the Blazefire Saber from Final Fantasy 13, Lightning's main weapon, or default weapon. I have the Masamune, which is Sephiroth's weapon, and then I have the DMC3 Yamato from Virgil.
I'm about to rob your house, man. I need that motto.
But yeah, it's mostly I do like knives and swords and all that, but it is mostly like not cosplay, but like just
Replica stuff.
yeah, replica stuff. Yeah,
I mean, look, collecting arms, especially arms based off of characters you like in anime and games, is a fairly common thing, I think. So that
I still want Rebellion. I still don't have it.
dude, I saw Frostmourne in a store once and I almost bought it for you. Like I was like if I had the spare cash, I would have.
Frostmourne as well.
If I had the spare cash and would have legally been able to send it from here to Australia, I would have gotten it for you.
No, that's not gonna go through.
I was about to say,
Sadly.
I don't think your government or mine would take too kindly to me shipping you, this full size greatsword. That would
Yeah. I would also love Shadowbringer as well. I'm fucking pissed that Tom Holland has Shadowbringer and I don't. For those that don't know, when Shadowbringer was either first came out or coming out, like just before, they did like a live action trailer of like Tom Holland, aka Spider-Man, doing like swings and like working out with Shadowbringer because he's preparing himself to be the Warrior of Darkness, and I'm like full on 200% mad. Just he's got his own Shadowbringer replica, and I'm just like, I want it.
that's because Tom Holland actually plays games, and if I'm not mistaken, he actually did play 14 at the time. So
Oh, did he?
yeah, I'm pretty positive that's the case. Yeah. I know I used to follow him on Twitter back then, and like he had a few tweets that definitely implied that he definitely played, but could be wrong on that. Obviously, I don't know Tom Holland, so but
Okay.
that was always my understanding of it. So, all right, cool.
What else? Oh, I don't know. I like. I guess I would say I just like games in general. Obviously, JRPGs is my thing, but generally I can play most things. I'm a bitch when it comes to horror games, so you'll see me play like Devil May Cry or Doom for Spooky Ween instead of like I don't know Five Nights at Freddy's all that shit.
I hate that when you thought of horror games and the first thing you mentioned was Five Nights at Freddy's.
Same.
Well,
You
what
have
else?
Fatal Frame. You have Silent Hill.
Clock
No,
Tower.
no. Okay,
Oh,
hold
that was
on,
another good one.
hold on. Those are good horror games that don't rely on jump scares. I'm
Correct.
talking about like dog shit, fucking bottom of the barrel. You don't do anything for 5 seconds, you get a jump scare. It's like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, all right.
I mean, you could have
Literally the
you could have
game.
listened. Observation Duty. Try not to scream. What is that? What is that one that everyone plays?
FNAF.
No, not FNAF. Why would I list FNAF?
I don't know.
Is it about like
But
the
yeah,
Amnesia series?
It's the everybody like you prep and you try and figure out what the ghost is haunting the
Oh,
house.
Phasmophobia. Yeah, no, I can't play
Phasmophobia.
that. Yeah, no, I would actually be. I don't like being. One of my like. I really shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. One of my like most terrifying phobias, other than water, bro, I cannot play Subnautica. Is being chased and I don't have a way to defend myself. I don't like those games or things. It
Oh
just
yeah, horror games are not for you.
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm
Like
not gonna be able to pressure him into playing Phasma with me.
no. Well, see, here's the thing, though, right? Like, so Resident Evil 2 and 3 remake, right? So there are stalker type characters, right? Mr. X and Nemesis, right? But you have a way to defend yourself with your guns, right? Now, if it was Resident Evil 2 and 3, but without the guns, and all I had to do was just run, I probably would not be able to play it. Especially fucking Nemesis. Bro, do you know how agile Nemesis is? It's actually insane.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah, it's it's crazy. That man's fast.
but like, I don't know. It's so weird though, because as soon as he gets the rocket launcher, all threat of him is just like gone because he's so focused on just firing. When him just simply being able to fucking Spider-Man himself in front of you.
Yeah, the fact
It's
that even
like-
if you're going at full sprint, this man takes 3 steps and he's in front of you.
Yeah, like it's insane. But like, I just no, I can't. I just can't do being chased and there's no way to defend myself, despite wanting to play Clock Tower. Like Clock Tower, I know is pretty good, and Haunting Ground as well.
There's a couple of them out there that I think even with that fear you might be able to get by and play, but it would be a close call, I think. So
Yeah, probably.
okay, well there you go, everybody. That is Nat. He's another voice that you will hear on here very regularly, and since we mostly talk about games and anime and stuff, I think he'll do just fine.
Yeah, sure.
All right, well, I guess I have to answer my own questions now, don't I?
Yeah, you do. Only fair.
Yeah, so, hello everybody, I am your host, I am Matthias. As far as, my favorite video game, I'm not going to tell you Final Fantasy XIV, because that's the easy answer. My favorite game really is a flavor of the season kind of thing. It does change very often. But my safe bet, if I have to answer on the spot, will probably be Persona 5.
Oh,
Okay.
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 Because to me...
Wait, which one? Which one first? There's two
Royal.
versions.
I'll say
Thank
Royal.
you. Okay.
Yeah, I'll say
okay,
Royal.
yep.
So for me, Persona 5, I love turn-based games. I hate this concept that Japanese developers seem to have, that turn-based is dead, because it's very much not.
Facts.
Yeah, it's actually true.
I love turn-based games, and Persona does turn-based so very well. Persona 5 is
Yep.
great. I love the theming, the aesthetic theming going on in Persona 5 with Phantom Thieves of Heart, because I'm a big fan of like that era of novels of Sherlock Holmes, and I don't remember what Arsène Lupin's book is actually called. I love those books. I love Arsène Lupin's book. I love Sherlock Holmes. I love all of that. So the aesthetic theming of the Phantom Thieves of Heart, that really hit home for me, because it's not something I'd seen in a video game form, and I don't know that I've ever played a game other than Persona that really has that Phantom Thief aesthetic going on. So that aesthetic, obviously, very at home for me. I really enjoy that. And then, I love the social aspects, because it's just an interesting little touch to the game, and the way they integrate that into the game. I think it's handled very well. It's very fun. But that's kind of Personas 3, 4, and 5 as a series. They do that. I like that. I think it's cool.
You mean 1, 2, 3, right?
No, I mean
Persona 1 and 2 don't exist.
You know what?
Apparently, they're 6 and 7.
Well, you know what? 1 and 2, the people that say they don't exist are wrong. They do exist. There's complications. There is a loose connection. I'm not getting into that. And then it's just like all of the characters minus one are fantastic. And then honestly, it is the game, because it's the game that reminded me why music in video games is important. It reminded me why it's important. And it reminded me how much I love, what games can do with music. Because, yes, I'm spoiled by it being somebody that plays 14, and we have Soken, who just, wonderfully crafts every track that goes into 14. But it's just that the music in Persona 5, oh my god, man, it's just so good.
Seriously. Like, it's a genre we don't hear a whole lot of. It's so well integrated, and overall, they're all actually just bops. And they were in 4 and 3 as well. So
yeah, and so my favorite game does tend to be a flavor of the week, because it depends on what aspect I'm looking for in a game. So if you ask me my favorite game for this reason or this reason, it'll change. But if you want me to give you an on the spot answer, it's gonna be Persona 5 Royal, because that's just an upgrade to the base game. I just think it's great.
I'm surprised you did not say Final Fantasy 15.
I really like Final Fantasy 15. If there are things that it's in my it might be in my top 10, my top 10.
You also have Type 0 on the brain as well.
That's the that's the 10th game in the Type 0 installment. Actually, I guess it'd be the 11th game. But I do really like 15. But I think 15 does have flaws that hold it back a lot.
Yeah.
Whereas if I were to try and think of flaws for Persona 5, it's a little hard sometimes to think of things that I would actually flaw that game for.
No, never mind.
I think there's one section in the game that really gets on my nerves, but it makes sense with the characters that it involves, but it doesn't stop it from getting on my nerves, but also at the same time I have issues with one small section in that game, and I'm sure it'll come up. No, it's middle of the game where Ryuji and Morgana get in an argument.
Holy shit.
And then you lose 3 or 4 days in game because of that little spat being just I'm just like, this is just dumb. This entire argument is dumb. I get they're teenagers on the people's side. I get that they're kids, whatever, it makes sense, sure, but at the same time, you have enough people here that are very level-headed, that should just be saying something or intervening, and they just let it play out, and then you get this stupid back and
Oh
forth for
my
like 4 days. That section aggravates the crap out of me.
I'm remembering what you're talking about. I'm just like, oh my, it's so.
But then that also might come back to the fact that Ryuji as a character just really gets on my nerves sometimes. I don't dislike Ryuji, but of all the characters in Persona 5, he is the bottom of my list because he just gets on my nerves so bad.
I don't think he's at the bottom of my list, but that's mostly just because I tend to forget Haru exists until she shows up.
So did everyone else.
Yeah.
Well, see, I've done a playthrough and got to do her social link and actually got to build her character. I really like Haru because of that. But it's just, and then, like I said, I like Ryuji, I do, but he just gets on my nerves so much. And I don't even think it's so much him. It's just the way the writers handled him.
Yeah.
It just it gets on my nerves. And I think it's a trope they give your best friend character in 3 and 4 as well, and it just kind of annoys me. That same trope,
Bro,
but it
even happens in Final Fantasy VIII. Like I agree with you. Like I actually do like Ryuji as well, but like I hate those characters that they're essentially like loudmouth and be like, we should do something because we're the Phantom Thieves out loud, and it's like
he says loud in
it's
a public
like Zell
space.
with like Final Fantasy VIII. It's like, oh, Cypher, you're gonna take him back to Balam Garden. It's like, oh my god, bro, shut up.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like people really hate on, and rightfully so, really hate on Paimon at the beginning of Genshin because she just says stuff that she's not supposed to say out loud because she's the voice for the traveler or whatever, and it's just like,
Well, no, people disliked Paimon because of that last thing you said, was because instead of giving Aether any personality, Paimon got all the lines.
yeah, well, I mean that, and they made Paimon an idiot early on.
True.
Yeah, because like it's bad, it's really bad, and I can't once early on, I cannot fault people for having issues with Paimon in Genshin. I really can't. That her writing does get better the further you get into that game, and that's also because they started to give Aether personality a little bit. Finally, please give Zack lines, give Zack more lines, and just let him talk. Oh my god, playing Star Rail and having moments where you're the voice to whoever you choose for whichever character voices their thoughts out loud.
Yeah.
Like give that to Aether because he has moments where he's thinking and it's just his thoughts. Why doesn't he get to voice? Why don't they let Zack voice those lines? Please give him lines.
I mean,
Anyways,
it's literally just like Pokemon protagonists. Like, the protagonist does speak. They just speak in yes and no's.
yeah. But yeah, so my favorite game does end up being a little flavor of the week, flavor of the month, I guess. Because like right now, I mean, I'm playing a crap ton of Spider-Man 2, and oh my god, is that game so much fun! Holy crap, is it a good game? I'm almost done with it. Almost done. It's such a good game. It's such a good game, and then I think it just the it brings like superhero games, to a new level. And I'm like, if every superhero game was done to this level, it would just be there'd be more superhero games because they'd actually be enjoyable. If you haven't played the Marvel Spider-Man series on PS4, PS5, you should. Spider-Man 2 is peak. Like peak.
Is it going to come out on PC anytime soon?
Marvel Spider-Man 2 will probably be on PC within about a year and a half.
Yeah. I can't imagine it's less than it's definitely not going to be less than a year. But a year and a half sounds the most reasonable.
That's okay. Between a year and year and a half is when they've been putting out their PS exclusives on Steam. So that's what I would expect. You can get the first game and Miles Morales on Steam currently. So definitely play those first because you will be very confused if you don't know what's going on.
Yep.
But both of those games are really good too. I just think Spider-Man 2 polishes it up and makes it even better. That playing the first ones afterwards would be a little bit tricky. But yeah, so that's my favorite game. Ask me next week and it might be different.
Yeah, reverse 1999.
That game's okay.
Oh, yep.
I like it. So, second question was my favorite anime and manga.
Yes.
This was.
I've never actually read the manga for this one, which is strange because usually if I like an anime, I will go read the manga. But my favorite anime is Rurouni Kenshin.
That's
Oh.
solid. It's a shame
Okay.
about the author, but the
Yeah.
actual content of that show is pretty fucking great.
Yeah. Remove the artist. Wait, remove
Author.
author. Wait, no, it's remove the art from artist from the art. What was it?
Oh, Death
What's
of the
the
Author
same-
is what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've never been somebody that will let something that the author or person behind a work, I will never let that like jade my opinion of the work itself. So because Rurouni Kenshin, has nothing to do with the author other than the fact that he wrote it.
Yep.
Like that story is incredible. That is an amazing story. And considering most of the things I like when it comes to anime and manga is, very shonen, very fantasy-esque and things like that. It being a historical drama, being I think is its actual classification in genre, is very, very different. But it is one that I very, very much love. And it was actually, I want to say 5 to 10 years after I had watched it. I was in middle school, so it had to be about that. When my older brother introduced to me the fact that there was a prequel to Rurouni Kenshin called Samurai X, which kind of covered, which kind of covered the before Rurouni Kenshin stuff, and I'd never known this, and he had it all, so he let me borrow it and watch it, and I fell in love with that series all over again. So yeah, it's just an easy, very obvious. My favorite anime is Rurouni Kenshin. One day I'll actually read the manga to it, I suppose, but
One day.
I love that series. I love that series, and I've watched that series. Of all the anime I have watched, and I've watched several multiple times, I have watched it the most. I have yet to watch its new, because it recently had a remake, reanimation, made it look kind of
revival.
modern. Yeah,
True.
haven't yet to watch that yet. Mostly because I'm just kind of letting it see where it goes and finish up, and just so I can kind of marathon it. Now I will say shout out to my other favorite anime, because this is a more recent anime, but it has very quickly, very easily skyrocketed to very high on my list, and even gives Rurouni Kenshin a run for its money, and that's The Ancient Magus' Bride. That's just
I'm sorry,
Oh.
what?
The
I
Ancient
didn't
Magus'
realize you
Bride.
liked it that much.
Okay.
Okay.
It really shot up there. So I'm stealing this comparison from a YouTube video, but it's just such a good comparison. You've obviously watched a Ghibli movie, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how Ghibli movies tend to capture you in this sense of wonder, of interest about that world that the movie's taking place in. You want to know a little bit more about this or that. Like Spirited Away is a great example. You want to know a little bit more about what's going on here and how's that work, or et cetera and so forth, right?
Yep.
Sure.
I felt that watching Ghibli movies, of course, but I've never been so enraptured with something as I was with my first time sitting down and watching Magus' Bride. It was, I want to say, it was, because I can't remember when it first came out. It was either I was still in high school, or it was I had just gotten out of high school. And I sat down one night, and I was just like, all right, I see this new anime coming out. I want to check it out. I want to watch it. So let me pull it up. And I was like, okay, there's 3 episodes out, it looks like. So I'll watch the 3 episodes.
Okay.
Then I found out it was a 3-part OVA. The actual series hadn't started yet. It was just kind of a lead up thing, and I watched those 3 OVAs. I clicked on the first one because I was like, I'm just gonna watch this first episode, then head to bed, because it was already kind of late at that point. I had just finished watching something else. I throw it on, and I mean, it felt like not even 5 minutes into this, I was just like, I want to know where this goes. I am so interested. Like, I had just been captured so quick. I was so curious. And I just, that one night, watched the entire OVA, and then I was just like, wait, that's the end? I don't understand. What? That was so good. And then I found out it was the OVA and the actual anime hadn't come out yet. And that anime, like when that season, that first season aired, I was staying up to watch the simulcasts on the Crunchyroll when they came out. So I was watching it when it came out in Japan in real time because I just wanted to see the show, and I was just enamored by that world and enamored by the art and everything about it. It's so good. And I watched, once the first season was done, I turned around and started buying all the manga. I have every volume of the manga on my shelf behind me.
Wow.
So
Oof.
I love
You're insane, bro.
I love Ancient Magus' Bride. It's so good. And if you haven't watched it, go watch it. Just
All right.
do yourself that favor. It's a really, really good show.
Yeah, you heard it here, folks.
Yeah. And if you struggle with any form of I'll say depression or self-love and care, it's something that the main character also struggles with, and kind of gives you some perspective on it. So it definitely helped me with that a little bit. And yeah, it's just a good show. It's a great show. It's beautiful. Music, fantastic. Art, oh my god. Animation, incredible. Just, I love the show.
All right. Okay.
Fair enough.
Sounds pretty good. I mean, I don't really watch anime no more, but yeah, it sounds interesting. So
I've currently made it 2 episodes into that show, but I do expect that once I'm a little bit more
It does.
pulled in,
Yeah,
I will marathon the way through.
yeah. It does take a little bit to start up if you watch the actual anime. I think the fact that I like watched the OVA first kind of helped me. Because OVA simultaneously takes place like in the dead middle of the anime, but also it's a prequel.
Okay.
So basically, start of the OVA is in the very middle of like the anime, around like episode, I think 12-ish. And then it has to do with the main character telling the other main character a story about her past, and the OVA is just the story of her past. So
Okay.
so it starts with that scene like in the middle of where the anime is. Then it goes into her past, like just a story from her past, not her full past, but a story from her past, and that ends up being the full OVA. And then the end of the OVA is it goes back to that present time. And there's a fun little allusion to it in the actual anime where you see them like in that study area where she's telling the story and everything that kind of happens that leads up to it. And it has that in the anime too. So if you've watched the OVA, you're like, oh, this is where the OVA takes place. Cool. And then,
Well, yeah. So it's one of those things. It's like,
Mhm.
I know that reference.
yeah. And then there's an OVA between season 1 and season 2 that takes place as well. That's
Okay.
not as powerful as the first one in that regard. But if you liked season 1, it's just kind of more of the same stuff that's going on in season 1, and it's like a 3-parter. It's pretty good. And then season 2 gets into the next like major story bits, and we'll leave that for that. 3 things about me. 3 favorites, whatever this has decided to become. I love all forms of fiction, fantasy, and storytelling. As I mentioned briefly before, when I first went to college, I was majoring in literature and English because I like storytelling. I like stories and I like books, everything. You'll very rarely hear me talk bad about any form of fiction because to me, I have a lot of respect for anybody that takes the time to write a story, whether it's good or bad. You've taken your time and you've given your effort and you've tried to put your story out there, and I respect that greatly. You're doing more than I ever have as somebody who likes to dabble in writing. So that's my first thing. I love all forms of fiction, and fantasy. So yeah, I like comic books, not just like mainstream Marvel or DC comics, though those are both great as well. I do love just comics in general. My favorite superhero is probably Spider-Man. When if you had asked me when I was younger, I would have said Batman. But I think as I've gotten older, I've come to love Spider-Man more and more. Specifically, I am a fan. I do think I am more of a fan of Miles Morales than Peter. Um,
Hmm.
but I
Not
just
Toby. Not Toby Maguire. Peter Parker. That's
yeah
the actual
yeah
character, not
yeah
the
yeah.
actor.
I think I am a little bit more of a fan of Miles than I am of Peter, but I do love all of the story beats and elements that Peter gets in the comics they're really good. And
Mm,
I think Peter Parker is
yeah.
an incredible character and hero. So not saying I dislike him at all. But let's see. I guess kind of following that first one a little bit. I've attempted college numerous times. I have attempted for literature, English. I've attempted for interior design. I've attempted for video game design, and I've attempted for history and culture, uh, specializing in Eastern history and culture. Because
Okay.
if you hadn't picked up already, I'm a huge
A
weeb.
weeb. Yeah.
I love Japan. But I mean, I love
Yeah. Fucking
Japan's
weeaboo
history.
over here.
I love Japan's history. I love their culture. I love the country and everything about it. So I mean, yes, I am a weeb, and it is because of my love of anime and video games that I developed that love. But I do have a genuine respect and love for that country as well as other Eastern countries. But yeah, so I've tried the school thing many times and am looking at trying again in the future potentially. But yeah, that's me. I guess I'm indecisive, and I've tried school a lot, so I know a decent bit about a lot of random things. Uh, Kind of going in with that, I'm also just a big fan of history, so I like history.
Hell yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Regale us the tale of Gilgamesh, please.
Do you really want me to retell you the actual Epic of Gilgamesh?
We
Because
do not have the time.
because
for
I
the
mean
tale
I
of Gilgamesh.
I can give you the abbreviated Epic of Gilgamesh. I have read it.
Is it only 12 hours long, the abbreviated version?
No, I mean like super abbreviated. I can get you real quick, man.
Look upon my timeline and despair.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess that's three things for me. To guarantee it, I'm a fan of villains. My favorite characters to write and be are villains. There you go. I like villains.
Oh, yeah.
I think a good villain will sell any story.
Oh, yeah. Trust me, I know firsthand.
But yeah, that's me. This is us, and you've kind of got a taste of what the podcast is like. We're just gonna be talking about games, talking about anime. We
Shooting the
have a
shit, drinking.
yeah, we have a diverse set of tastes, a diverse set of opinions and knowledge and interests, and I think we just have some fun conversations. I think you should definitely stick around for future episodes and come hang out with us. Got a lot of fun things we'll talk about, whether it be just random gaming topics, kind of like what today's was, or recent things happening in gaming that we're just like, this is interesting, let's talk about it. And so on and so forth. Any closing remarks from you two?
Thank you for having me and us. I don't want to speak on Dot's behalf, but yeah, thank you for having us, and hope you guys enjoyed yourselves.
Hey, yeah, thanks for listening. And I mean, you don't know this yet, but you'll have myriad opportunities to ask us questions. So keep an
Oh,
eye
yeah.
out for that.
It's true. I promise you by the second episode of the podcast, we will have a hashtag for you to be able to tweet at us your questions or things you might want to hear us talk about in depth. And we will keep our eyes there to see what you have to say. And then, of course, you can always leave comments under the YouTube section, and I will do my best to check those as well for other fun little questions or comments or topics you would like us to talk about. So please do that. And then if you want to follow us, we do have a Twitter. You can go follow us at Celestia Radio PD. So be sure to go follow us there and see fun little updates there, or at least see the tweets when new episodes come out. And then if you want to follow us individually, you can follow Nat on Twitter at NatharisVT, right? Do you just have the other? Yep.
Yep,
Okay.
VT.
Yep. And then he is on Twitch as well, where he streams pretty regularly at just Natharis.
Yep.
Dalit is... Sorry, I do not remember the website that you wanted me to...
That's fine. I can be found on Twitter at DolletVA or on Blue Sky at just Dollet, Dollet.
And there you go. And then I guess if you feel like following me too for some reason, I'm gonna be the odd one out. You can follow me on Twitter at ArchangelGN. And yeah, that is where you can find us individually. You can find the podcast at Celestia Radio PD. And yeah, thank you all so much for listening, and we will see you all in the next episode next week. So until then, take care.
Goodbye, everyone.
Love your faces. Be good.